Oh, I didn't think I'd have to get out the glass of liberal tears so early yet again. It's been such a bad month, but we live to fight another day, etc., etc. A bunch of cringy Instagram shares. Hey, this is just and very fitting because we're talking about America, fireside chat, unedited, well, lightly edited, just you and me. So, I think that I'm probably going to have to acknowledge the giant Republican elephant in the room, which is that Jordan, yet again, continues on with his victorious streak of not predicting a single election ever. Ever. I am the Jim Cramer of political psychic calls. I've got donuts. I am running up donuts. You know what I've realized I think is a very big problem with this? A lot of my politically extremely minded psycho nerd friends, they all got it wrong as well. Some of them got it right, but a lot of them got it wrong. And I think that this is because when you are into politics, you're constantly looking at graphs, charts, demographics. And so you look at all of that and say, yeah, it's going in. Kamala Harris has trended. Trump went on Joe Rogan once. Okay, well, that negates 50 years of door knocking.
I want to be a whale psychiatrist.
And that is, I think, the big takeaway from this election. But before we get into that, when every single person on YouTube is putting their why Trump won. So allow me to add to that with yet more graphs. Check this one out though. Don't you think that this explains it all? Because look, you click on Shapiro, you click on the Young Turks, they're all going to have different explanations, but graphs don't lie. Except in this election and every other election. But look at this. Every single government that has gone to election this year, hammered. Absolutely smooshed into the ground. It doesn't matter their political stripes. It doesn't matter their campaigning. If they're not losing the election, they're down in points everywhere. All that matters is we are no different to the Aztecs, except instead of getting mad about the corn yield, we're mad about cornflakes.
Hey, cornflakes cost more. Kill him. Kill the emperor.
I'm saying, I think the reason that people that don't pay attention to politics much get election results better is because they're just using the vibe on the street. And the vibe on the street is, my life's shit. And after that, it doesn't really matter if the policies are helping to assuage the shit situation or if they're making it way, way worse. People don't care. They just have the thought in my head that, hey, I'm me. Fuck 'em. I'm telling you, it's the same dynamic that has been happening since the beginning of organized society. Whoever these shadowy figures are that are in power, they caused this, they must pay. That's reason number one. Reason number two is, that's people that are slightly informed. Most people don't give a fuck. Look at the election results. This is, quote, the most important election of our lifetime. Half the country stayed at home watching Two Broke Girls. They don't care. They don't pay attention at all. They probably don't even know that Trump is the president at the moment. This is why we get these electoral results, methinks. What this election showed, I think, is that it is not policies that shape elections. I think that we all convince ourselves in our heads that it does if we really tune in on this. If only they picked the right price for agricultural exports, maybe they would have made it over the line. I think it's purely Trump can chill with Andrew Schultz. Do you think Kamala could? Trump had the best vibes. That is not up for debate. In fact, Trump has such good vibes that I was thinking about this. I was thinking that if Donald Trump lost, and in my mind he was going to lose, I would be glad that he lost, but I would feel really, really sorry for him. And if Kamala lost, I would be sad that she lost, but I wouldn't feel sorry for her. Why? Because Donald Trump is a human. You can see him sitting at home being like, that's 2 elections they stole off me. Everyone's against me. You can see how he would feel to that. As a result, he is more human. And when he is hanging out on these podcasts, he can vibe. He's really good at vibing, to the point that when he did win, the way that I'm able to console myself is, at least we got 4 more years of the best reality show ever made. What does that mean for the election that is coming up in 2025? One takeaway that I think is absolutely crucial, and I hope that Labor politicians pay attention to this. I think you've got to stop being MPs. I think you got to start being influencers. I think you got to go out onto podcasts and chill with the boys. We have the model here. This is 2 elections in a row. Yeah, Stephen Miles lost. But again, look at the trend. Every incumbent government loses. He was supposed to get absolutely smashed in this election. He's going up against cost of living. He's going up against the entire mining industry, chucking dark money into this election. And he had a pretty decent result given the circumstances. Why? Why didn't he lose as much? I think that people are fooling themselves in their heads that it's the 50-cent bus fare. I'm sure that shifted a few votes. But I honestly think that it was the TikTok stuff. People saw him as a normal human being, like a good guy that wanted to do good things and do his best. It immediately removed him from that sort of, I am this sun god emperor behind my pulpit, I am very serious and I command the economy to, yeah, Milesy can beat you 100, go son! Federal Labor, take note. I know that what you are doing now, you think works because the vibe a year ago was, we want serious governments in control. I get it. That's why we're doing the whole, this is my speech, let's walk out like it's 1920s, here's my little announcement, off I go back into my office. I understand that that's what you think is going to win elections now. And again, that was the vibe a year ago, but in the age of social media, trends change like that. Now they want a podcast friend. You don't have to deal with the media anymore. You can just go out on TikTok and do skits. Cringy skits with a bunch of Zoomers. I'm telling you, it'll do better. Just don't go full Adam Band. To quote Tropic Thunder, you never go full Adam Band. And the last thing is, Australia is not your Canberra bubble. I know that you intellectually understand that. Everyone understands that they are in a bubble, but they are still in the bubble. And the Canberra bubble is so far removed culturally from what the rest of society thinks about and wants. So you got to quit it with the small target shit, this out of touch shit like, oh, we're going to make the internet nice and safe with social media information laws. That'll be good for the kids. Fuck off with your nanny state bullshit. Look, your government is doing really good things for the everyman. They're taking on the supermarkets. They've taken on all of corporate Australia by getting wages back for the average worker. You're bringing back manufacturing and rebuilding it for the 21st century. That's huge for the economy. You're taking on international corporate tax evasion. That might be one of the most important governmental moves in half a century. That's a big, big fight that you are absolutely primed to be very popular about with the electorate. Why are you loudest about all these things that will score you points at a Sydney Morning Herald dinner party? Misinformation laws? The Voice? Did you notice that everyone in the Canberra bubble was absolutely shocked that The Voice didn't pass? Not only didn't pass, it was flattened, as was your approval rating ever since. You took serious points for that. That's what you should take away from the US election. This country isn't a wine tasting party in Canberra. It is a beer swilling tube jockey nation where if you sit around with the boys, drinking a couple of beers, talking about how bad corporate tax evasion is and what you want to do about it, that's how you get your message out these days. And by the way, when I say go on a podcast, I don't mean come on my channel. That is not going to do you any good. It's not going to do you any good going on any political channel because it's just filled with a bunch of psychos like us being like, hey, they said something I slightly disagree with. Unlike, fuck you. That's not going to be good for you. What is going to be good for you? Fishing Weekly. Beers Weekly. The Weekly where we review how much we fucking hate the show The Weekly. Anyway, those are just my unscripted, unedited thoughts on the matter. If you want a scripted and edited video, we've got a big one coming out on Wednesday. So make sure that you look for the premiere that we are going to start hours before that we could have released today, but it would be extremely distasteful to do so on Remembrance Day. I'm getting scared even thinking about that one. So make sure that you tune in for that. Afterwards, I am going to be on YouTube Live, hanging out with my buddies yet again. We're going to have a fun time.